So, one thing that I used to feel growing up most of the times is that, whatever I wanted to do in my life, whatever I was trying to put whatever action I was trying to do, I always felt like it wasn't good enough. Whether it's writing an essay, whether it's, growing up playing sports, or, in your exams, or any kind of, uh, you know, uh, activity where I had to deliver, I always felt like I wasn't good enough, I wasn't doing enough. So that kind of emotion really was a mental roadblock in on my journey to success. It just did not was not just a roadblock, it was a lot of stress. It was something that really drove me nuts because I was a perfectionist. I still am to a certain extent, but I know how to work on it now. But being a perfectionist at that point of time, you always feel like, no, this, anything you do, you feel like it can be better. And then what it happens is it leads to something that I call as analysis paralysis, wherein you get stuck into a certain situation wherein you feel like it's not good enough, and you're trying to improvise again and again and again, eventually realizing that you're stuck. And then the action that you actually had to take is not happening, so you end up not taking any significant action. So this is a major problem, roadblock in your journey of growth. So if you're someone who can relate to this, please listen up, because this is important to be addressed. So I feel like whoever is suffering from this has to first of all accept, because self-awareness is a first step to growth. So having that mindset of acknowledging that kind of a behavior, and it's not a disorder, but this is something that we have certain beliefs that we have accumulated from our childhood days, and we have grown up with certain beliefs, some good, some not so good. So these are some of the not so good category of beliefs that needs to be addressed. It was a detrimental to my own mental health because I used to get stressed out a lot. I used to be fixated on something. I still do sometimes. I really have to check myself. So you can never fully, recover from it, or you never fully let go. But self-awareness is a tool that can really help you even acknowledge in the first place and check yourself that you're doing that. Okay, second thing which I also want to talk about is the feeling that I'm not good enough or I'm not doing enough. This feeling is actually coming from where? This feeling is coming because you are so dependent on other people's opinion, other people's validation. Because this emotion is not about you not being good enough. This emotion is about you not feeling that the other person perceiving you will perceive you as not good enough, or perceive you as good enough. So this is what the problem is. You are perceiving that the other person might come back and might judge you, or might comment on you, and might say things that, oh, this is not good enough, or I expected more from you. So that fear that you might have, the judgment from other people, that is a fear that makes you feel that you are not good enough, or the things that you're doing is not good enough. So you have to understand that. So as long as you can understand, recognize that pattern, and understand that it's the other person's judgment and not your own work, that can help you ease. But I know this is not an overnight journey. Transformations are never overnight. It takes time. It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. But the first thing in what I want you to do for you is to help you recognize your own patterns. So that is that. And the third thing is working is transformation. Right now you recognize your pattern. Now you need to know what to do next, right? So I think this is where coaching is very powerful. But since I do a lot of one-to-one coaching with people and things like that, so that I can go deeper into psychology, I can go deeper into that person's life, and that really helps. So that, because it's important to identify where it is coming from. So however, the gist of this is that this emotion needs to be let go of, because this is only going to be a roadblock. This is a very famous Hindi kahavat which says, sabse bada rog kya kahenge log. So this is something that I kept on telling myself, that this is the disease that I have, that I am just so concerned about other people's opinion rather than what I feel and what I want for myself. And I had to really tell myself, reprogram my mindset into believing that whatever I'm doing is good enough. It may not be the best, but it's definitely good enough. Because here is a fact: nobody is born a champion. Nobody. Because when I looked into the success stories of all the famous, could be entrepreneurs, sports person, whoever has excelled into their respective fields, if you see their biography, nobody was born that way. Except exceptions are always there, but majority of people are not born that way. They came up because they really put in the effort. They really started from scratch. They gave their heart and soul into that particular field, and that's the reason why they reached the point where they are level at. So it's very important to understand that nothing happens from day one. The success doesn't come from day one. So you have to understand, you have to make yourself understand that, so that you can put out the content, or the things that you want to do, the action that you want to take, and you can start with baby steps. All right, without judging yourself. Try not to judge yourself. Try not to think about other people's judgment. I know that's a tricky one, right? Because the moment I say try not to think about, you're going to do exactly that, right? You're going to think about that particular thing. But that's where I think coaching is very, very important. You have to understand that no action is small action. Even the small actions have impact, because they would all pile up to the bigger action. The big actions are nothing but the stepping stones, or the combination of small actions. So that is something which you must remember and tell yourself over and over and over again before taking any action. And even if the action that you're doing is not good enough, really not good enough, I mean, it's like it becomes a disaster, that is still okay, because you always have a second chance. All right, you always have a second chance to do it. This is not, the life is not over. It's not the end of the world. I mean, you always have a second chance. So keep all this in mind while you're trying to move towards your goals. I hope this helps. Wish you a great day.